was one of Garrison's suspects. He had been involved in an ammunition raid in Hammond, Louisiana, that was sponsored by the CIA. The CIA, the rogue elephant branch of the CIA, had raided a federal ammunition dump or something, in order to get back some of the bombs that the FBI or the CIA had taken away from them. When Kennedy tried to shut down the anti-Castro stuff, something like that. Anyway, he was in Hammond, Louisiana. It was a raid on an ammunition dump. It's mentioned in The Invisible Government by
So
Weiss.
he was trying to allege a connection between you and this other co-conspirator? Or?
Yeah, well, evidently there is a connection. That's one of the things I've decided since then. That Gordon Novell has been following me around all my life. He keeps appearing in the same, every so often he gets busted for arms smuggling or something. He was up for director of the CIA at one time. Anyway, every so often he gets busted for arms smuggling with Warbell or some right-winger. Well, it always seems to be that I'm in the same town at the same time when it happens. So I sometimes wonder if he just isn't, that he wasn't my fraternity brother and wasn't somehow assigned to watch after me from then on.
Kerry, are you saying that Jim Garrison was alleging connections at that time about you and your life, that he may have been correct and you didn't realize it that time?
He was more, as the guy in the movie says, he says, you're closer than you think. He was more correct than either one of us realized. He was more correct than he realized. Like I say, he only charged me with perjury. My crime was much worse than perjury. My crime was conspiracy to commit murder.
To assassinate the president?
Yeah. In legal terms, it was much worse. Yeah.
Can you describe how you came to realize the truth about your involvement in this conspiracy? It
was as the Watergate scandal unfolded, as information came to light about activities between the Mafia and the CIA in particular, and about the rogue elephant CIA that was loose among the anti-Castro people at that time, the breakaway faction of the CIA. It began to dawn on me that there were a lot of weird similarities, like the business with the red wig. All right, Howard Hunt went to visit Ida Beard when she was in the hospital and had disguised himself with a red wig. All right, David Ferry wore a red wig.
Yes.
I knew about David Ferry. I had met him once and I read about him.
You met David Ferry?
Yes, this was something I didn't realize at the time I testified before the grand jury, but a few months later, somebody mentioned the address of David Ferry's house on Louisiana Avenue, and I knew that I had gone to that house for a party. And then I remembered that my girlfriend had said to me, we're going to a party at the house of a homosexual airplane pilot named Ferry. Ha ha ha.
Oh, Ferry, like
yeah. And I remember the night very vividly because it was just not too long after that she and I broke up, and we were having problems that night.
Never mind your love life.
Yeah, well.
How about David Ferry and your conversations with him?
I didn't converse with him. We just shook hands. They said, "This is David Ferry. This is Kerry Thornley." And he.
I believe you made a statement that you said that they made sure you shook hands with everyone.
Yeah, it was like Clay Shaw.
Okay. When did you
shook
shake
hands
with
Clay 2 weeks
Shaw?
before the assassination at most, maybe less. Anyway, one day I had loaned my Idle Warriors book manuscript to my landlord, who said his mother was a writer and wanted to look at it. And at the end of the weekend, I loaned it to him over a weekend, and at the end of the weekend, I went up to his house to get the manuscript, and he introduced me to Clay Shaw and one other gentleman. I don't remember who. Anyway, one of them was undoubtedly Clay Shaw, and he said, and this was something I didn't remember until just before I testified. However, it was brought back to my mind because the girl that I was with at the time kept saying afterwards, that Clay Shaw sure is a handsome man. That's the only reason I remember.
So the name rang.
Yeah, and I remembered it in that way first, her talking, and then I said, who was she talking about? And then I remember, oh my God, that was, my book about Oswald, and there's Clay Shaw standing there as the guy's giving it back to me. You know,
that would be a memorable.
Yeah, it should have been.
Who else did you shake hands with?
Guy Bannister.